we just put this clip up on Blog TV, which we're also doing. And let me check in the chat. In the chat room, we got Dr. D Charge, who's been on my show as David Koss. And we've got Jim Powers, Truth Pilgrim on here. Yes, somebody is definitely tinkering with the weather, and that's what the chemtrails do, and that's why your mountaintops are poison, folks. The chemtrails are putting in aluminum and barium, and that's going down to the snow on the top of Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, Mount Hood, whatever, and it's poisoning the snow. So you know it's doing that to your water supply, do you? Don't you? And the Gulf, yeah. That's your biggest crock of crap so far, yes. And that was a definite attack on our food supply. The same attacks on our food supply have been going on our farmers, for the last 100 years. They don't, ninth plank on the Communist Manifesto. Yes, they outlawed hemp. Truth Pilgrim's asking, did they outlaw hemp at the same time they outlawed marijuana? They demonized marijuana, which is the female plant of the hemp plant. The male plant you can't get high off of. The hemp plant you can't get high off of. It doesn't have THC. The female does. And as far as I'm concerned, that hemp, the marijuana, the cannabis, which cures cancer. Cannabis cures cancer, folks. That's right. We got Vorpalbite, Vorpalbite, and welcome here. You've got that absolutely right. Food has been a weapon of choice since the dawn of warfare. That's what happened to the Soviet Union. They starved 10 million people in the Ukraine. That could have been Kansas, folks. That could have been Kansas, and it may be the between the GMO foods and the rain and the chemtrails, the poisoning of our food. You're eating, but you ain't feeding yourself. You are not doing that. Okay. Let me go back to Kaminski here. Let me go back to Kaminski. About that big black cloud he sees, and he's talking about the it's not just the chemtrails, it's not just Monsanto doing GMO food and putting the bug spray in the food. That's okay, that kills the bugs, but you go ahead and eat it, you suckers. Oh my God. To live in Florida today is like choosing to live beside a toilet bowl filled with poison, guaranteed to shorten your life. Kaminski says, I knew this 3 months ago when I went screaming out of here. Nothing's changed today. Only the lies have been compounded, and a profound environmental hazard has been wreaked upon the animal populations of the Gulf Coast, amounting to a long-term medical cost that at this point cannot be calculated because it is beyond human comprehension. I'm reminded of what J. Edgar Hoover said. The average person his mind simply shuts down when he's faced with a conspiracy so vast that the mind can't comprehend it. And that's what we are, and that's what I try to do for you folks. I try to help you comprehend who is doing this and why it's doing it. Because you can point the finger at it. We know it's a Rothschild. We know it's the Rockefellers. We know it's the Morgans. It's the Jacob Schiffs out there. And Jacob Schiff, by the way, the Kuhn & Loeb banker, you know, that financed the Bolshevik Revolution, and these communist one-worlders control the Chinese too. I don't call it communist red China for nothing. Okay, hold on just a moment. Let me. I'm going to switch back and forth here because I'm recording this for YouTube, and I need your help. You need to go to, Clayton Douglas at YouTube. The links are on my site, and let's get this going viral. I am the one person out there that is telling you the truth, just giving you this information, and because I'm bringing people to you, like John Kaminski. Yes, the sea life is trying to get out of the water. hurricane blowing in. Yes, our soils have been depleted because guess what, America? Guess what hemp does? Truth, Pilgrim. Hemp restores the soil. It reaches deep enough down. It pulls out the fulvic acid and the other minerals, trace minerals that our food is missing today. Okay, back to Kaminski. With each passing day, they are finding new ways to kill us. Taking this down to a human level, this turning of the Gulf into a poison swamp is going to bring a lot of pain to a lot of lives. If they sentence drunk drivers to long jail terms, then the Goldman Sachs type gents who engineered this disaster should get longer ones than that. At a minimum, what kind of sentence is appropriate for those who have killed the whole world, at least whole constellations of life forms, like our dolphin, like our fish? I mean, I spent years out in Miami fishing out in the Gulf. I've got 2 novels about that, and you need to buy those novels, folks. I mean, people told me, well, Clay, you're just writing about yourself, aren't you, here? And I said, no, my character's younger, better looking, got more money, killed more people than I have. But what I wrote 10 years ago is happening in the Gulf, and happening in the waters there now. I just pray I'm wrong about the attack on the nuclear power plant there in my second novel. But go to freeamerican.com, read the first few chapters in those novels, buy them, and understand who I am, what I've done. I'm just like Louis L'Amour, folks. If I write about something, I've been there. And I've been in all these places that I write about. I've been to every state except Alaska. Maybe I'll go there after the poll shift, huh? The most significant character in the current never-ending catastrophe drama now before us is IMHO Matt Simmons, the peak oil propagandist. Appears, like Paul Wellstone, William Colby, and other insiders turned whistleblowers, to have called it right shortly before he was assassinated in his own hot tub by the forces of petro-tyranny. There are 2 wells, and in their TV spectacular, they kept the one that wasn't leaking. Haven't heard much more about the blue plague, Kaminski says, where people in the New Orleans are supposed to be getting blue lips and blue fingernails as their bodies rot from inside from the exposure to the benzene and a greatly reduced oxygen count in the air, down to 13% in some zones. I've heard that's air almost as thin as a Mexican airliner. Combined with the average pollution and the intensified chemtrail spraying, the people on the Gulf Coast and the eastern U.S. are all being asphyxiated. It's in the same slow, torturous way that the savage vampires are utterly destroying our financial system in perpetuity. All of these are preparations for the great die-off that is about to happen, and in so many places is happening now. Folks, this is worldwide. This is going on in Russia. This is going on in Pakistan. Now, you might have heard on the news about a tree that fell down in Germany, that Anne Frank, looked at. But you didn't hear about the thousands of trees that blew down or were wiped out by floods in Pakistan. You haven't heard about the floods in China. So and you've heard about the heat waves. You heard about the crops and the corn dying here, but they're not putting it together. The media and the Alex Jones and the Glenn Becks out there aren't telling you the truth about what's going on. Kaminski said, the best thing I heard on my trip were Paul Tepetti's radio interviews with incredibly astute interviewers, which can be heard on PokerFace.com and freeamerican.com. I was one of those astute interviewers that were interviewing them. It's lapsing back to the basic Thomas Jefferson message that we should run our country and not let the money be manipulated by outsiders who regard us as cattle, as goyim, to be milked and slaughtered, or sheep waiting to be sheared or consumed or disposed of in the most profitable way.